Yeah, fine. The recording has started. So now let us begin our today's class. Today is our day 11, right? So let me create a new folder called day 11. And like always, inside this folder, I am going to open my VS Code. So here, I am going to create a new file called as if-else practice.py. Let me select my interpreter. Fine. So I have disabled the chat section. After completion of the class, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So in our yesterday's class, we have discussed about conditional statements, right? We have seen how if-else conditions work in Python. We have seen how to execute a specific block of code depending upon a condition. So we have discussed all those things. So first, let me show you github.com. Yesterday is our day 10. So you can see the code over here. So here the thing is, so here we also call this if-else conditions as decision making because here my Python interpreter is making a decision to execute which block of code. For example, based upon a condition which I give after my if keyword, my Python interpreter will decide to execute a specific block of code. In case here, if the marks are greater than 90 means my Python interpreter will execute line number 60. If the marks are not greater than 90, then it will check for the next condition. And in case if my marks are greater than 75 means my Python interpreter will execute the line number 62. So like this, the execution will happen in if, else and else blocks. So here my Python interpreter is deciding to execute a particular block of code based upon a condition. So we also call this if else conditions as decision making because here we are also making a decision, right? I am making a decision to execute a specific block of code based upon a condition. Let me repeat once again. Here I am making a decision to execute a particular block of code based upon a decision or based upon a condition. So we call this as decision making statements also. So fine, yesterday we have seen how this if, elif and else works in Python. And today we will discuss some of the basic examples. Yesterday someone yesterday someone asked me to explain a few more examples in if-else conditions. So today we are going to do that. First, I am going to explain you some of the examples related to if-else conditions, and after that we are going to discuss about nested if, and finally we will discuss about how to solve problems in HackerRank. And tomorrow I am going to share you a link, HackerRank contest link. You need to participate in that. You need to submit your answers. So first I will show you how to submit your answers in HackerRank so that if you have any doubts, you can clearly understand how HackerRank works. So fine. Now here, let us start with a simple example. So this is we are going to practice some of the basic if-else programs here. So the first program is check whether the number is whether the number entered by the user is positive or negative. In case, with the help of Python programming, if you want to check whether a number entered by the user is a positive number or a negative number, then we can achieve this with the help of if-else conditional statements. You can see here still a lot of people are joining. Fine. So how can we do this? So first step is I am going to take input from the user, right? So here I am going to declare a variable called number, and I am going to take input from the user, and to the user I am going to say enter a number. That's it. Now here user will enter a number, and also I know that This input function will take input by default in string format. We know this, right? So here I need to perform typecasting, which means I need to convert that string into integer. So I have taken the input from the user in integer format now with the help of typecasting, and I need to check whether a number is positive or negative. That's it, right? So simply I can say here, if here my condition will be if the number is greater than 0. Of course, if a number is greater than 0, then it means it is a positive number. So I am going to say print positive number. Otherwise, I am going to print negative number. That's it. With the help of these four lines, you can achieve this. So simple, the condition is if the number is greater than 0, then of course it is going to be a positive number. So the numbers from 1 to infinity, they are positive numbers. And in case if the number is not greater than 0 means, then it will be a negative number, like -1, -2, like and so on. It goes like that. So let me run this program first. So here if I enter number 50, then you can see here I got output as positive number. Similarly, if I enter -5, then you can see here I got output as negative number. So like this, you can find whether a number entered by the user is positive number or not. So in case what happens if I enter 0? In case here, if I enter 0, then my number will become 0, right? 0 is not greater than 0. 0 is equal to 0. So the condition present after my if keyword will fail and the code present inside my else block will get executed. So in case if I enter 0 here, then I will get output as negative number. So to solve this, I can use another elif block. That's it. Elif. If the number is greater than 0, then it means it is a positive number. If the number is equal to 0, then it means it's 0. That's it. 0 is neither positive nor negative, right? So if I run this program once again, now this time if I enter 0, you can see here I got output as it's 0. So like this, we can check whether a number entered by the user is positive number or 0 or negative number. So I hope you understood this basic program. Now let me comment out this. Now let us discuss about one more program. Check whether the number entered by the user is odd number or even number. So you all know about odd numbers and even numbers, right? Just give me a second. A lot of people are inviting me. So fine, let us continue. So you all know what is meant by odd number and even number, right? So if a number is divisible by 2, then that number is considered as even number. So numbers like, let me say even numbers. Numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and so on. So all these numbers are even numbers. These numbers are divisible by 2, right? So if I divide 2 with 2, I will get output as 1, 2 ones are 2. If I divide 2 with 4, I will get quotient as 2, 2 twos are 4, 2 threes are 6, 2 fours are 8, so 2 fives are 10, 2 six are 12, like this. So if a number is divisible by 2, then we call that number as even numbers, and odd numbers are exactly opposite to even numbers. So odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. So all these numbers are even numbers. So here I can divide odd numbers with 2, right? I can divide 1 with 2, I can divide 3 with 2. Of course, I can divide. If I divide, then I will get some floating point number as output. So for example, here if I say print 3 by 2, then I'm not going to get a rounded number. You can see here I got output as 1.5. So here I can't divide a number I can divide odd numbers with 2. So what are even numbers? The numbers which are divisible by 2 are called as even numbers, and the numbers which are not divisible by 2 are called as odd numbers. Now here, if a user enters a number, then we need to check whether that number is odd number or even number. So first step is I am going to take input from the user. So I am going to copy the same line, and to check that I'm going to say, so what condition can I use here? So first let us think. So here first I need to check for even number. Let us consider first I am going to check for the presence of even numbers. So I know that if a number is divisible by 2, then those numbers are considered as even numbers, right? So here in case if I divide a number with 2 and I am getting remainder as 0, listen to my words carefully. If I divide a number with 2 and after dividing, if I am getting remainder as 0 means then that number will be a even number. Why? Because if I divide 2 with 2, I will get remainder as 0. If I divide 4 with 2, I will get quotient as 2 because 2's are 4, but I will get remainder as 0. Similarly, if I divide 10 with 2, I will get quotient as 5 and I will get remainder as 0, right? So in case of even numbers, if I divide even numbers with 2, then I will get remainder as 0. So what condition can I use here? I can simply use modulo operator, right? We have discussed in arithmetic operators. So the modulo operator or the percentage symbol. So this modulo operator is used to get remainder after performing division. Let me repeat once again. This percentage or this modulo operator will return us reminder after performing division. So if I say number person 2, so first user is going to enter a number. Let us consider it is 12. So here we are checking for 12% 2. So if we divide 12 with 2, we will get quotient as 6, but here we are performing modulo operation, right? So I will get output as 0, which means I will get remainder as 0 if I divide 12 with 2. So in case after performing division, if I am getting remainder as 0 means I am going to simply say it is even number. Similarly, if I am not getting remainder as 0 means of course it is odd number. That's it. So here, let me repeat this condition once again. So what is happening here? So first here I am dividing a number with 2 and I am getting remainder after completing the division operation. So I know that if I divide even numbers with 2, then obviously I am going to get output as 0. I mean I am going to get remainder as 0. So if I divide even numbers with 2, then I will get remainder as 0. That's what I am checking here. After dividing my number with 2, if I am getting remainder as 0 means, then I am simply saying that it is even number. Otherwise, in case I am not getting remainder as 0 means, of course it is an odd number, and inside my else block I am simply saying it is odd number. So if I run this program and now here if I enter 14, then you can see here I got output as it is even number. Why? Because 14 is the even number, right? If we divide 14 with 2, I will get quotient as 7 and remainder as 0. Similarly, this time if I enter 15, then you can see here I got output as it is odd number. So what is happening here? So if I divide 15 with 2, then I will get quotient as 7 because 2 sevens are 14 and there will be a remainder of 1. So I am checking whether the remainder is 0 or not. So here my remainder is 1. In case of 15, it is not equal to 0. So I got output as it is odd number. So this is how you can find or you can check whether the number entered by the user is odd number or even number. Suppose in case here this program is completed, but in case if I want to get output as in case if the user is entering 15 means I need to get output as 15 is odd number. Similarly, if user is entering 16 means I need to get output as 16 is even number. How can I do that? So here simply I need to modify inside my print statement. So here I can say number, comma, that's it. So what is my number here? We have already discussed this, right? Like this, we can print a variable and a string. So basically, if even number, this is a string. Python will consider this entire statement, if even number, as a string. And here I am printing my variable, and we know that we can separate strings and variable names with comma. We have already discussed this. So now here I will get output as, in case if I enter number as 14 means, so what is my number? 14. And after 14, what is present? Is even number. So now I will get output as 14 is even number. Similarly, I need to modify this below print statement also. So in case if user enters 15 means, I am going to get output as 15 is odd number. So like this, we can modify inside print statements to get our desired output. Now here, if I enter 10, then you can see here I got output as 10 is even number. If I run this program once again, and now if I enter 7, you can see here I got output as 7 is odd number. So I hope you all clearly understood this program now. I am basically checking the reminder here. So if the remainder is 0 means it is even number, and if the remainder is not 0 means it is odd number. Fine. So we have discussed these two programs. Now I hope you clearly understood how we can use this if else in real time. Now let us discuss about nested if. So here let me create a file called as nested if.py. So what is this nested if? So if I want to make a decision on the basis of another decision, let me write that. If I want to make a decision based on another decision, then I can use nested if. What does this line mean? So here I have already told you that we call this if else statements as decision making also, right? Because here we are deciding to execute a particular block of code depending upon a condition, right? So here, if I want to make a decision based upon another decision, then I can use nested if. So basically, this nested if is nothing but the presence of a if block inside another if block. So the syntax is, let me write that also. Nested if means the presence of if block inside another if block. This is called as nested if. The syntax is simple. So first we use if condition, after that we give some condition followed by colon, then we need to give indentation space. Now here I can write my some code, or else I can use another if condition also here. So condition. Then again, I need to make sure that I am giving 4 indentation spaces after this second if condition. So according to syntax, I need to give 4 indentation spaces after my if condition. So you need to remember that. So there are 4 indentation spaces after my first if condition. As I am using another if condition here, so I need to make sure that I am giving another 4 spaces after my second if condition. So there will be total 8 empty spaces here. So this is how the indentation works in Python. So here I can write my code. Now here, if this else is not mandatory, if I want to use the else for this second if condition, I can use. The Python interpreter will allow me to use a else block after my for this nested if. We also call it as nested if, right? So if a if condition or if a if block is present inside another if block, then we call it as nested if. So here the point is, in case if I want to use separate else for this if condition, then of course I can use it. Not only else, I can use elif also. I am totally allowed to use this. So no one is going to restrict me. I can write some separate code for this elif block. Similarly, I can use else also. It is not mandatory, but in case if we want to use, of course, we are totally allowed to use this. Now after, so this is my first if condition, right? So for this condition, for this if condition also, I can use some elif here. If I don't have requirement, I can use else. If I have requirement, then I can use else also. So it totally depends upon my requirement. So as I am using another else condition, I need to make sure that I am giving four indentation spaces. And finally, I can use else. So not only one else condition, we know that we have discussed this earlier. We can use as many as else conditions we want. Here also, in between this nested if and nested else also, we can use multiple else conditions. It is totally allowed. So this is the, let me zoom out a little bit. I hope you all can see now. So this is the syntax of nested if in Python. So you need to make sure that you are giving a colon after condition and also four extra indentation spaces for this nested if block. So that's the thing which you should remember. And now let us write a basic program here. So here, let us take this one also. Let us take this first program itself. Let me copy this. Here I am first taking input from the user and I am checking whether the number entered by the user is positive number or negative number. Now here you can see I have used one if condition. After that I have used elif. After that I am using finally else block. Now instead of using this elif, I can simply remove this elif. Now here in the first line I have told you that if I want to make a decision based on another decision, then I can use nested if. So here based on this decision, I am going to make another decision. So what is the decision over here? Number is greater than 0. So let me say here number is greater than or equal to 0. Now what will happen if I say number is greater than or equal to 0, then I am going to get output as positive number. In case if user enters 0 also, then I will get output as positive number. So here I am going to filter out the 0 with the help of nested if. So I am going to make a decision based upon another decision. So based upon the decision over here, which is number is greater than or equal to 0, I am going to make another decision. In case if user enters, if the number entered by the user is 0, then I am going to print number is 0. Else I am going to print positive number. So let me explain what is happening here. So first I am going to take a number from the user in integer format. After that, first I am checking if the number is greater than or equal to 0 or not. In case if the number is greater than or equal to 0, then it may be either positive number or it may be 0, right? So in case if the user has entered 0 means for this I am using another condition here. I am saying if the number is great equal to 0. So I know that this double equal to operator is a comparison operator, right? We have discussed this. So in case if the number entered by the user is 0 means the code present inside this nested if block is going to execute. So what is the print statement over here? Number is 0. So here if user enters 0 means I am going to get output as number is 0. In case if the number is not equal to 0 means of course it is going to be a positive number. So if the number is not equal to 0 means it is going to be a positive number. Now, then what is the next scenario? In case if the user is entering negative number means, of course, the negative number is not greater than or equal to 0. In case if he is entering minus 1 means, minus 1 is not greater than or equal to 0. So my Python interpreter will basically ignore all the code which is present inside my if block and it is directly going to execute the code which is present inside my else block. So I am going to get output as negative number. So let me run this program. Now here, if I enter 8 as input, you can see I got positive number as output. So what is happening here? Let us trace out the program. So the number is now 8. 8 is greater than or equal to 0. True. So the code present inside my if block will be executed. But here there is another nested if condition. So what is that condition? 8 is equal to 0. No, false. 8 is not equal to 0. So the code present inside my else block will get executed now. So I am getting here output as positive number. If I run this program once again and if I enter 0 here, then you can see I got output as number is 0. So what is happening? So number so 0 is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, of course, 0 is greater than or equal to 0. So what is the next condition? 0 is equal to 0. Yes, 0 is equal to 0. So as this condition is becoming true, I am going to, so the code present inside my nested if block will get executed. So what is the code present inside my nested if block? At line number 23, I am having a print function saying number is 0. So in my output screen, I got output as number is 0. If I run this program once again, and here if I enter minus 85, then you can see here I got output as negative number. So what is happening here? Minus 85 is greater than or equal to 0. No, false. So directly the code present inside my else block will get executed now. So this is how we can use nested if conditions in Python. So I hope you all clearly understood the concept of nested if now. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me in nested if. I have enabled the chat section. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, fine. Okay, Rakesh. All right, all right. Okay, I think you don't have any doubts now. So in today's session, we have discussed some of the basic examples in if else, and after that we have discussed how this nested if works in Python. So this is the syntax of nested if. We can use a if condition inside another if condition. So if in case if a condition if a if condition is present inside another if condition, then we call it as nested if. So it is like tongue twister for me. So now let us discuss about hacker rank. In our previous class, we have already discussed how to create a hacker rank account, right? So basically, you can directly log in with the help of Google. So if you have any doubts, you can watch that recorded video. We have seen how to create a hacker rank account. So after creating an account, you will get a dashboard like this. So here you can practice. So let me select Python here. I can go down and select Python here. So let us solve this first question itself. It says Python if else. We know we already discussed about if else, right? So let me solve this program now. Okay. Okay, this is going to be interesting program. So here inside this hacker rank, first you don't worry about what is this import, what is this name equal to main. You don't worry about all those things. You just ignore these things as of now. In our upcoming videos or upcoming classes, I am going to show you what is meant by import. Of course, we are going to discuss about this import statements. They are basically modules. We are going to discuss about that in upcoming classes. But as of now, just ignore these lines. And also ignore this. What is name equal to main? Just ignore this. Now, here according to the program, I am going to get some out. I am going to get some input. So HackerRank will give me some input, and according to that input I need to show some output. And here by looking at this code itself, I can understand that. So HackerRank is going to automatically enter some input, and that input will be stored in my variable n. So basically here I have taken input, right? With the help of input function, I have taken input from the user, and I have stored that in number variable, right? So similarly, here also I am taking input, and after that I am performing strip function, and ignore this strip function. I think I haven't explained about this strip function so far. In our upcoming classes, I will explain you what is this strip function. So as of now, consider I am taking some input from user. HackerRank is taking some input from user, and it is converting that input into integer, and it is storing that number in a variable called n. That's it. So this will be common for all programs. In case if it is a string, means here you will find some variable called yes, something like that. So here, first let us read this task. So let me zoom in a little bit. So now you can see here, given an integer n. Of course, here they have at line number 12, you can see they have given an integer n. Perform the following conditional actions. So I need to perform these actions. So here, if n is odd means I need to print weird. Now we have already discussed how to check whether a number is odd number or even number, right? So here the first thing is if the value stored inside n or the number stored inside n is odd means I need to print weird. If n is even and inclusive in the range 2 to 5. So here in case if n is an even number and also the n is present in between range 2 to 5, which means the n is present in between range 2 to 5 means 2, 3, 4, 5. If n is present in between range 2 to 5 means I need to print not weird. In case if n is even and it is present in between range 6 to 20 means I need to print weird. And if n is even and greater than 20 means I need to print not weird. So don't worry, first we are going to achieve one condition at a time. So first we are going to print weird if n is odd. So just he is explaining about input. So a single line containing positive integer. So n will be a positive integer. Of course, if you are checking for odd or even numbers, then I need to make sure that those numbers are positive numbers only. So here, in case if the input is 3 means I need to print weird. Why? Because n is odd number. So in case if n is odd number means I need to print weird according to condition number 1. You can see here if n is odd, I need to print weird. So sample input 1, 24. If the input is 24 means I need to print not weird. So 24 is an even number and n is greater than 20. So according to last condition, if n is an even number and greater than 20, right? So 24 is an even number and also it is greater than 20. So in this case, I need to print not weird. So you can see here they have shown output as not weird. So don't worry, first we are going to achieve this first condition. So here I am having a number or integer n. So first I need to check if it is odd number or not. So I can simply say if n percent 2 is equal to 0 means it is even number. If it is not equal to 0 means it is odd number. That's it. I hope you understood this point. If I am dividing a number with 2 and after dividing I am not getting remainder as 0 means then of course it is odd number. If I am getting remainder as 0 which means equal to 0 means it is even number, right? So if I want to check for even number, I can simply say n% 2 equal to 0. And if I want to check for odd number, I can say n% 2 is not equal to 0. So here, if n% 2 is not equal to 0 means it is odd number. So in case of odd number, according to first condition, I need to print weird. So here I am going to print weird. So I have copied the weird from here. All right. So what is the second condition? If n is even and in the inclusive range of 2 to 5, then print not weird. So here, of course, there are multiple conditions. So I know that if there are multiple conditions, then I need to make use of elif. So I am saying elif. Now, what is my second condition? The first thing is n should be even. So just listen to my words carefully now. Here, in case if the n is odd number means I am going to print output as weird and my program will be, the execution of my program will be completed. That's it. So here we already know that I have told you this yesterday. In case the condition after if keyword is becoming true means my Python interpreter will not check for the remaining elif conditions and it will not execute the code present inside my else block. I have told you this yesterday. Let me repeat once again. In case the condition present after my if condition is becoming true means, of course, the code present inside my if block will get executed. And also at the same time, my Python interpreter will not check for the upcoming elif conditions. And also it will not execute the code present inside my else block. I know this basic thing, right? So here, now I don't need to check for even number because if the condition over here, if the condition after my if keyword is failing means then obviously the number entered by the user is even number only. Because if the condition over here is failing means then of course it is going to be even number only. So again, I don't have to check for the even number. All right, I hope you understood this point. If it is odd number means the code present inside my if block will get executed. In case if it is not odd number means obviously it is an even number, right? So here at elif, I don't need to check whether the number is again even number or not. So in case if the condition after my elif block is getting executed means obviously it is going to be a even number only. So I hope you understood the point. So let us discuss the second condition. So according to the second condition, if n is even and in the inclusive range of 2 to 5, then print not weird. So I need to check whether my n is in between range 2 to 5. So I can simply say n is greater than or equal to 2 and also n is less than or equal to 5. What is happening here? I look at this. condition now. So here first I am checking whether n is greater than or equal to 2 or not. So in case if my n is greater than or equal to 2 and also my n is less than or equal to 5, then I am going to print not weird. So we have discussed about this logical AND operator, right? So this logical AND operator will return true if the condition present on the left side of the logical AND operator and also on the right side of the logical AND operator is becoming true. So in case, let us consider now the n value as 4. So 4 is greater than or equal to 2. Of course, true. 4 is greater than and or equal to 2. Similarly, 4 is less than and equal to 5. So if the value of n is 4 means these two conditions are becoming true. Which two conditions? N is greater than or equal to 2 and n is less than or equal to 5. So if both the conditions are becoming true means my AND logical operator will return true. So in case my AND logical operator is returning true means the code present inside this else block will get executed. So I hope you understood this problem. Here I am going to simply print not weird. So according to the condition, if the value of n is in between 2 to 5, then I need to print not weird. So I hope you understood this elif condition now. Similarly, we are going to use another elif condition and I am going to check if the value of n is in the range of 6 to 20, then I need to print weird. So I am going to simply say if the value of n is greater than or equal to 6 and also if the value of n is less than or equal to 20, then I need to print weird. So according to condition, if the value of n is even and it is in the range of 6 to 20, then I need to print weird. So like this, I can achieve this. And finally, the last condition is if the value of n is even and greater than 20, then I need to print not weird. So of course, if all these conditions are failing means the value of n. So first, if all these conditions are failing means the first thing is n is a even number, and the second thing is the value of n is greater than 20. So I don't need to check for any more conditions. I can simply use else block here. So if all these conditions are failing means I am going to simply print as not weird. So that's it. Let me zoom out a little bit. So this is our program. So user will enter n. So first, if n is odd number means its remainder is not going to be 0. So I am checking that with the help of this modulo operator. So if it is an odd number means I am printing weird. If the value of n is not odd means then of course it is going to be even. So now if the n is even and it is in between range 2 to 5 means I am going to print not weird. And make remember that I am using logical AND operator and I have shown you that this logical AND operator will return true if both the conditions are becoming true. Otherwise, if any one condition is also failing means it is going to return me false. So if it is returning false means the code present inside this elif block will not get executed. So let us consider number 14 now. So 14 is of course greater than or equal to 2. Let me repeat, 14 is greater than or equal to 2, but 14 is not less than or equal to 5. So this this AND logical operator will return me false. So the code present inside this elif will not execute now. So in case now check for this. 14 is greater than or equal to 6. Of course, this is true. And what is the next condition? 14 is less than or equal to 20. So of course, 14 is less than or equal to 20. This will also become true. So as both the condition over here are becoming true, I am going to get finally true as output in this logical AND operator. So now the code present inside this elif block will get executed. So if all these conditions are failing means n is even number and also n is greater than 20. So finally the code present inside my else block will get executed. So let me run this code. You can see here I have successfully, just give me a minute. All right. So you can see here I have successfully passed all the sample test cases. So in case if you are successfully passing all these sample test cases means the next step is you need to click on this submit code button. So after clicking on submit code button, HackerRank will check for some other test cases. So if all the test cases are passing it, you will get something like this on your screen, like congratulations, you solved this challenge, like this. So if you are getting this green badge, like congratulations, then you have successfully passed all the test cases. So like this, you can execute programs in HackerRank. You can practice. First, read the problem, understand the conditions given in the problem. Then, according to the conditions, solve step by step. First, solve for the first condition, then again solve for the second condition. So like this, you can solve problems in HackerRank. So first, you need to click on Run Code. If all the sample test cases are successfully passing, means you need to click on Submit Code button. So like this, you can use HackerRank, and we have seen a basic problem. I hope you clearly understood this problem. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. I have enabled the chat section. I hope you all can easily follow what I am explaining. Can you share the code? Which code, Kavya? Of course, I am going to share this if else code. Okay, okay. You want me to share that HackerRank code? Fine, I will share that. Nagaraj is saying today class is very speed. Really? I think I am explaining slowly only. Is it speed for everyone? Is my teaching speed for everyone? I'm expecting reply from everyone. If my teaching is speed for everyone, then I will try to slow down a little bit. Kiran, yesterday I haven't explained about loops. Who told you that? You can check out the recorded session. I haven't explained about loops. Okay, all are saying no. Fine, fine, thank you. So fine, Nagaraju, I'll try to explain little bit slowly. Priyanka is saying your voice is not clear, sir, today. Oh, maybe some network issues. I don't know. Is everyone facing any kind of issues with my voice? Okay, fine. Okay, all right, all right. Maybe it might be a network issue from my side or your side. I don't know. Okay, thank you for confirming. All right, Sujit is asking something. Sir, if I enter 14 means it is an even, that means it print not pair, but it is in the elif condition. We have seen this program, right? Oh, yes. So, so what will happen if I enter 14? So have a look at this. If in case if the value of n is 14 means 14 is greater than or equal to 2, yes, true. But 14 is not less than or equal to 5. So this elif condition is failing. So it will check for next elif condition. 14 is greater than or equal to 6, true. And the next thing is 14 is less than or equal to 20, again true. So now this elif condition is becoming true. The second elif condition is now becoming true for 14. So I will get output as weird in case if I enter 14 as input. So that's how it will work for 14. No, Kavya, in case of HackerRank, it will automatically take input. You don't have to enter input manually. It will take input automatically. You don't have to worry about taking input. You just need to write your code and after that you need to execute your code. That's it. Nagaraj is asking difference between elif, else and if. That's what I explained yesterday. I think you missed yesterday's class. So if I want to check for multiple conditions, I will use elif. If I don't have any more conditions, I can simply write some code inside my else block. So basically, if all the conditions present after if and elif are failing means, then the code present inside else block will get executed. Let me repeat once again. If all the conditions present after if and elif are failing means, then this code will not be executed. Finally, the code present inside my else block will get executed. In case if any one condition over here is passing means, the code present inside that specific if block or elif block will get executed, and the remaining elif blocks and else block will not get executed. So Ramkiran, I am planning to complete this before July 10th. I hope you understood the difference between if, elif and else. If I want to check for more than one condition, I need to use elif condition here. If all the conditions are failing means finally the code present inside my else block will be executed. In case if any one condition is becoming true means the code present inside that particular block will get executed and the remaining blocks will not execute now. The else block also will not execute. So 2 equal to less than. I think we can use that. In case of Python, it is allowed, but it is better to use logical operators so that everyone can easily understand. Of course, we can use like that also, Priyanka. Yes, we can use like that. But it is better to use logical operators. So the point is, if any other person is looking at your code means you should easily understand what is happening in your code. So that's why we need to try to write code as simple as possible. Yeah, regarding tomorrow, yes, tomorrow we have class and Monday will be holiday because I will not be available on Monday. So tomorrow there is class. I will post that in WhatsApp. So try to attend tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about loops. It is one of the important concept in programming, and also it is going to be interesting concept. Same timing only, 7:15 to 8:30. So try to attend tomorrow's class. And I think I have answered everyone's question. And Nagaraju, I think I have explained the difference between if, elif, and else. And yesterday, more than 30 minutes, I have explained how the if, elif, and else works in Python. So kindly check out that recorded video of yesterday if you have any doubts. So do you have any more doubts? Okay, I have disabled the chat section. And now let us discuss about this strip function in case of hacker rank. Now let us see what is this strip function will do. Let me create a new file called as strip.py. So basically we use these strip functions on integer on strings. So let me take a string as input from user. Let me directly assign a string. We already know how to take input from user, right? So here my string name is Python. So this is my string. If I print yes, then of course I am going to get Python as output. Let me run this. You can see here I got Python as output. And if I print len of yes, what will happen? You can see here the number of characters present inside my string are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are totally 9 characters present inside my string. So there are 3 empty spaces over here. These empty spaces are of course useless, but these 3 empty spaces are present in my string now. So if I run this program, you can see here I got output as 9 because our len function will also count empty spaces. So if I want to remove empty spaces like this from my string, then I can use strip function. So if I say f dot strip and something like this is equal to s dot strip. So fine. So you can see here I am saying s dot strip. So this strip function will automatically delete the empty spaces in my string. So in case if there are any empty spaces present in my at the end of my string means not in the middle. In case if I say Python programming. Now it will not remove the empty space over here. It won't remove the empty space between Python and programming, but instead it will remove the empty spaces which are present at the end of the string and also at the beginning of the string. So in case if there are any empty spaces present at the end or at the beginning of the string means, then this strip function will delete all those empty spaces. So here, if I print yes means you can see here initially I got some spaces and after that I got Python programming and you can see my length is 22 previously. After performing strip function, You can see here I got Python programming as output without any empty spaces in the beginning. And also now you can check out the length is now 18. And also you can look this one more thing. So here this strip function haven't removed the space between Python and programming. It haven't removed the space between Python and programming, but it deleted the empty spaces present at the beginning and at the end of the string. So that's the point which you should remember. So there is a function called strip function in strings. So this strip function will delete empty spaces at the beginning or at the end of the string. If there are any empty spaces present or at the beginning or at the end of the string means my strip function will delete all those empty spaces and it will finally return me a string after deleting those empty spaces at the beginning or at the ending. So like this, we can use strip function in Python, and there are two more functions also, lstrip and rstrip. So basically, lstrip will delete all the empty spaces from the beginning of the string, which means the left side of the string. And if I say rstrip means it will delete all the empty spaces from right side of the string or at the end of the string. So that's the difference between lstrip and rstrip. So let me run this once again with lstrip. Now there are two empty spaces before Python. If I run this program, you can see here it has removed the empty spaces. Previously, the length of my Python string was 10. Now it was 8 because it has removed two empty spaces before my string. Similarly, if I use or strip, it will delete only empty spaces from the ending of the string. It won't delete the empty spaces from the beginning. It will delete empty spaces only from the end of the string. So if I run this program, you can see here now I am having these empty spaces before my string, but it has successfully deleted the empty spaces after my string, so I got output as 8. So after deleting empty spaces from these two empty spaces, what is my length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? So I got 8 as output. So lstrip will delete all the empty spaces from the beginning of the string, and rstrip will delete all the empty spaces from the end of the string. And if I am using strip function means it will delete empty spaces from both the beginning and the ending. So I hope you understood the concept of strip function in Python. And yes, we have discussed about all these things. Today we have discussed about nested if, we have discussed some of the basic programs, and we have seen what is the use of strip function in Python. So that's the end of today's class. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave this class. Otherwise, you can ask me now. So Kavya is asking, explain once again R strip and L strip. So R strip. So first the strip will delete all the empty spaces from the beginning or at the ending of the string. And L strip, left strip. L means left. So this L strip will delete all the empty spaces only from the beginning. It won't delete the empty spaces at the end. It will delete empty spaces only from the beginning of the string. So that's what L strip do. Similarly, R strip means right strip, which means right side of the string. So this R strip will delete empty spaces from the end of the string. It will not delete the empty spaces at the beginning. R strip will not delete the empty spaces which are at the beginning of the string. It will delete only the empty spaces which are present at the end of the string. I hope you understood the difference between L strip and R strip. Yes, yes, Shimani, you can like that also. You can write like that also. But there is no point in checking that condition once again, right? If all the above conditions are failing means, then of course n is going to be greater than 20. There is no doubt in that. So we don't have to check that condition. Another example of nested if. So I need to think. Let me search in Google. Example programs of nested if in Python. So we have discussed the syntax, right? We have seen the syntax. So this is some random example. This is not like no, it's not real time example. It's some random example. So we have discussed this example. Great. Someone is using the same thing which I did in Geeks for Geeks. We exactly discussed the same program. Mm, I'm searching for real time programs. These are some random programs. There is no use in these programs. They are also using the same concept only. Fine. So basically there is no use in this program. So first let me create a question, some random question. This is not going to be real time. Or else I can do something like this. So this is my example question. You don't consider this thing in real time. Like for example, if the age is greater than greater than 18 means if user is eligible to vote. If age is greater than 80 means user is not allowed to vote. If age is less than 18 means user is allowed user is not allowed to vote. So here basically I am creating some conditions like in case if the age of user is greater than 18 means he is allowed to vote. In case if it is less than 18 means he is not allowed to vote. And similarly, if the age is greater than 80, 80 let me change this to 90. So in case if the age of user is greater than 90 means he is not allowed to vote. So my question is something like this. So here I can use nested if. So first let me take age as input from user in integer format, enter age. Let me comment out this. If the age is greater than 18 means he is allowed to vote. But I need to check for one greater than 90 means then print user is not allowed to vote. Else print user is allowed to vote. Similarly, if the first condition itself failing means age is of course going to be less than 18. So here I am using another else block here saying print user not allowed to vote. So what is happening here? So if the user is entering 25 as the age means, so 25 is greater than 18, the condition here is true. So the code present inside this if block will get executed. But inside this if block, there is another condition. So the nested if condition over here is 25 is greater than 90. False, right? 25 is not greater than 90. So the code present inside this if block will not get executed. Instead, the code present inside this else block will get executed. So what is the code present here? User is allowed to vote. Yes. If his age is less than 18, if user age is greater than 18 and less than 90, then he is allowed to vote. Otherwise, he is not allowed to vote. So like this, I am. So there are multiple ways of doing this, but this is one more way. You can use nested if for this. So in case the age is not greater than 18 means in case if age is 10 means so the if condition itself will fail. So this code is not going to execute. Instead, the code present inside my else block will get executed now. So I will get output as user not allowed to vote. So let me run this. If I enter age as 25, then you can see here I got output as user is allowed to vote. If I enter age as 10, then of course user is not allowed to vote. So user is. If I run this program once again, and if I enter 95, then also you can say user is not allowed to vote. Why? Because 95 is greater than 90, so this condition is becoming true. So the code present inside this nested if block is going to execute now. So I got output as user is not allowed to vote. So based on these conditions, I have written these if nested if conditions. So based on the condition in my question, so if the age is greater than 18 means he is eligible to vote. If age is greater than 90 means he is not allowed. If age is less than 18 means then also he is not allowed to vote. So for satisfying these conditions inside this question, I can write some nested if logic like this. So I hope you understood this. I will send you assignment today. Alright, how to get individual grades for different subjects? What is that mean? So first let us discuss the topic of loops. Then only we can work on those things. Yes. Now I am going to stop the recording.